session. Yeah, thank you for being here. Thank you for joining this discussion. I think it's very valuable for all the members of the 617. I would say I'll start with a short introduction for Paulina and Judith, and then afterwards we will start with the discussion and the questions. I would like to start with Dr. Paulina Robalino. She began her academic training in Argentina, where she earned her PhD in psychology. She is now based in Barcelona, where she works as an independent consultant and speaker on employee experience and data analytics. Until last year, she was head of people science and research at Silk, where she led data science and research projects. In addition, she's currently involved in Erasmus Plus project as a researcher and project manager, while also lecturing at the University of Barcelona. Her research focuses on cognitive psychology, personality, and the development of research and learning competencies. So we are very happy to have you here and to get to know your perspective outside academia especially. Thank you for being here. And on the other side, we have also Professor Dr. Judith Schonenboom, who has a PhD in linguistics from the University of Amsterdam. Since 2015, she's full professor at the University of Vienna at the Department of Education. And you have published extensively on mixed methods research, design, and the foundations of mixed methods research. You are the first author of the highly successful article, How to Construct a Mixed Methods Research Design from 2017. Judith has served as an associate editor for the Journal of Mixed Methods Research since 2014, and as a co-organizer of 2018 biannual global conference of the Mixed Methods International Research Association in Vienna. Judith also served on the presidential team between 2019 and 2022. So also here, welcome to this discussion. Thank you for sharing your experience inside academia. And so for now, I would maybe start with the first question. I briefly outlined your professional background and your career path. Maybe let's start with the question, what were the most important decision points in your career? Who would like to start?
Well, if you want, I can start. So thank you for having us here. It's a pleasure to share our trajectory and also, I guess, learnings in the path. So first, I think one of my important decision point was embrace the statistics and psychometrics. I mean, when I was in undergraduate school, I feel like it's really challenging for me, and then now I really enjoy it and also work with data all the time. So for me, it was more than just numbers. It enables to understand behaviors or predict some outputs. So I guess that's the first one. And then another one, I guess when I finished my PhD, I decided to move to the industry and don't be involved in academic work. So when I was there, I learned a lot of how the real world works. It's a little bit different from the books, but well, the old habits, I just feel that I was missing something, and it was research. So bring the research to the organization work and create a SLIC research center that is a little part of that organization that we promote research inside of organizations to take decisions. I mean, it was like a necessary for the companies or the organizations to implement, for example, learning programs. So base it in data, base it in research, not just, okay, what is now we need to learn Python. Let's keep Python first. but then maybe it's not necessary. So take decisions with research. Well, that's all for me, I guess.
Very interesting. Thank you very much. Maybe a short question in between. How did you find this organization? How did this get your attention?
Well, when I finished my PhD, it was like kind of, you know, the anxiety, what I'm going to do next. So one of my friends sent me the job position that she said, maybe it could be interesting for you. And the position was lead the team for data science related with employee experience. So the idea was develop some models or try to create statistics models to predict what is happening inside the companies. So you say, okay, I was trying to do this in my PhD, why not? So send the email and then spend there the last 4 years. I really enjoyed that work.
Cool, very nice to hear. So I hear it's good to communicate also that you're maybe looking for a job for a next
Yeah.
so maybe
Yeah, I think that it could be a little bit you know, it's like the anxiety or the stressful to something that is unknown, and then take the risk. I mean, take the risk, just take it, and we don't have nothing to lose. We have the no, and just do it. It sounds like an announcement. Yes, just do it.
Sounds good. Yeah. Very good. Thank you very much. And maybe Judith, from another perspective, what were the most important decision points in your career path?
Yeah, it's quite different, I think. Well, basically and a bit the opposite, because my very most important decision was to stay at university. And then you must remember, I had a master's degree in linguistics, which was back in 1987, which was a time of very high unemployment. And yeah, I had studied linguistics, so were not that much jobs. So I worked for several years as a kind of untenured lecturer at various universities in the Netherlands, and I always had to combine 3 or 4 jobs which were part-time, and then in the end I always had a full-time teaching job. And also I did not hadn't finished my PhD at that time, and because there was so little work, and people from my generation, many left university, for example, to work in ICT. And then at universities in the end of the 90s came the idea of computers in higher education. And that was new and I liked it. So I changed more or less to doing projects in higher education related to ICT. And that was how I entered, so to speak, education. And also finally in 2000, I defended my thesis. And through entering education, I became also interested in educational research. I worked as an educational research, became interested in methodology. And since 2006, I then also discovered this idea of mixed method research, which I really liked. And in 2011, when I was already 46, I went to my first mixed method conference, and then I just stayed, and then everything went very, very fast. And but I have had the possibility to leave university, but I wanted to stay there because I liked it, and I also worked for 20 years on without a permanent contract, which is quite normal, but nowadays. But yeah, for me that also was the case. And there was one thing which was also very important, which was not my decision, but it was the development of the internet. And I always say the internet saved my career, because through it, I was able to find books and all these library catalogs, which became online, also then the full text that became online, and information on groups of interest. And before that, it didn't exist. So, but that's something that you now all have, is this whole possibility of finding groups, literature, etc., of interest.
Mhm.
So that's my story.
Thank you very much. Also very inspiring and nice to hear that it pays off to stay in academia, even if the contracts are maybe limited for several times. And yeah, but now you have a very important position, and yeah, it's inspiring to hear yeah, that it has paid off and to be persistent. Yeah.
And it's never too late.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. Okay, thank you very much. If you have questions from the audience, please feel free to ask also in between. Otherwise, maybe let's go on with the focus on the methodological skills in your career paths. In your opinion, which skills, methodological skills, are particularly important in your position? Well, you mentioned also your mixed methods focus, which was very early in your career and led your path. So, yeah, would you like to add something?
Yeah. No, actually, my mixed method focus came quite late, because it came 2006 when I, so to speak, discovered all this methodological literature, which I also found extremely interesting. But to me, it was, yes, it is the methodological skills, but it was especially the combination of skills that made me very suitable for mixed method research, which is first of all also my interest in language. So then you are really focused on analyzing text. And then, which I haven't told yet, is that at secondary school, I was always good at STEM, so had the more technical, mathematical subjects. And through the doing innovations and research in education, I also developed something my knowledge and skills in social science methods. So I think it's a bit broader than only specific methods. It's a kind of combination of interests and skills, which this specific combination, I think, is a good combination for mixed method research, and perhaps for other themes or disciplines, it might be another combination of specific skills. But I think it is good to reflect on what combination of knowledge and skills would be very relevant for the subject I'm interested in.
Mm-hmm. Thank you very much. Yeah,
I'm completely agree with you. I guess it's just not one method or just one program. If you learn something specifically, I guess it's the whole pack of the skills. I mean, I guess for me, even I learned some, for example, programs to data analysis or programming language or different methods. The most important thing is the critical view that we created during our research process, because we have this skill to curiosity to go to see what is happening in the literature, or what is a new study saying, and then say how I can create based on this, and structure all the new projects, or even in the industry we have projects, and how we manage that. It's a kind of the skills that I bring with me from the research in the academia. And for me, it was really important to try to create things based on literature, because in organizations, for example, they just have that because we decide, it's like more like how we was talking about, and we think that will be work. And you say, but there is a lot of knowledge developed before of that. So bring with you all of these skills to the practice. I guess it's so important.
Thank you for your both perspectives. But were there also methodological skills that give you a competitive advantage in educational research inside or outside academia?
Yeah, yes, that now in this new work based on data, for me, have this skill analyzing them. It's like an advantage. And also I was agree with Judy that now more than ever, I guess that the organizations of public sectors, the practice are looking for PhD students or PhD researchers or even no PhD, but someone who know to methodological skill to join them, because they notice that we are important to keep the basis of the projects.
Mm-hmm. Thank you. What case?
Now related, I would like, it's a bit of a repetition, but I think that my background in linguistics gave me a, so to speak, competitive advantage. But what also gave me a competitive advantage when I look back at the whole procedure that I went through in obtaining this professorship was that I had this specialization of mixed method research. So because they were looking for someone in what they call empirical pedagogy, but there was a description in the advertisement that said we are looking for someone who will develop innovative mixed methods research designs in education, something like that. And in the German-speaking world, you also know who the other applicants are. And then it occurred to me that basically I was the only one who was really in mixed methods research, and there were others who had very long publication list, which I, with my whole background, did not have. Yes, but finally, I think that is why I got this job. By the way, I didn't get it at the first because they first they first chose another person, but then that didn't go well, and then they started negotiating with me, and so I finally got the job. So having a very close match to what they want and what you have to offer is really an advantage. It's no guarantee, but it's an advantage, yes.
Thank you very much. So I hear specialization is important, but also the broad methodological training is also important to know maybe both perspectives qualitatively and quantitatively, to combine also methodological approaches.
Yeah, totally. I mean, I was thinking, for me, even I know about the statistics, without my psychological background, probably it's going to be hard to interpret what is happening with this number, you know. So I guess if we need to imagine in which stage of our career we are and what are our own goals, maybe we can start with this more methodological foundation, and then going deeper in the topics that we really like to work, enjoy it, and have this specialization in the middle. But at the beginning, having the whole background, I guess, is so important.
Mm-hmm. Thank you. Yeah. And how did you acquire your methodological skills? You also already mentioned from your background, from your PhD background, and from literature, I heard. But were there also other opportunities to acquire these skills?
Yeah, well, real world research project, I guess is the best one to hands-on and learn what is happening and understand in a better way, just not to read. And also attending workshops, collaborate with other researchers and attend to these kind of events. I guess it's important because we can have this spark to say, oh, I would like to learn something about that here or go deeper there. So it's important to have this more social also. But I am, if I need to think what is the core of my drive factor, it was curiosity, because after all, I go to the okay, I'm moving to for curiosity to learn something new, to learn from you too, or to attend a formal course. You know, it's that.
Thank you.
Yeah. Well, for me also, formal education played a relatively minor role. Much of it was literature and indeed some courses, workshops, but also working together with people. And for me, it's always teaching. Having to teach a subject is also a very good reason for you to still dive deeper into the subject. Yeah.
Thank you very much. Yeah, Agnes, you have a question?
Yes, because both of you mentioned workshops within your statements. So I wanted to know, do you have certain institutions, organizations, or newsletters you specifically look at that distribute maybe online workshops or analog workshops, or is it more sporadically? Because in my workplace, normally colleagues also send around links. Oh, there's this workshop happening, and then there's that workshop happening if you're interested. But do you have a certain selection where you say, if I'm interested, I'm curious to learn something new, these are organizations that provide a broad array of workshops, or is it quite diverse?
Thank you for the question, Agnes. Do you
Well,
have?
I guess it's the first. It's up to you. I mean, you can attend to a workshop in the mark of the conference. They always offer workshops to specific topics, but also with, I guess, with the pandemic and after all online, go through online, I think there is a lot of offer to workshops in my case, no, for data analysis and in a specific field, or even these workshops at presence, that is to one day workshop or learn something. It works, but it's up to you and your field that you are working with. I don't know, Judy, if you want to say something else.
Well, I can only say something specifically for mixed method research, and I must admit the past few years for me workshops have played a minor role, or at least attending workshops. Giving workshops, it's a different question, but for example, related to and to education in general, I mean, the early conferences, they're also Endure, they offer nice workshops. Also, the Mixed Method International Research Association, they have various MOOCs on mixed method research, and the biannual conference also with workshops. Yeah, I think that, oh yeah, and there is also MethodsNet, which is interesting because they stem from political science, but they've now broadened their view to include also, say, social science generally. And they also every year in Europe they have various workshops and conference, and yeah, they're also interesting, I think. And they are not. They are not online. Yeah.
Thank you very much. Yeah, it was a very important question, and maybe there's also now time to advertise our methods chats from 617, where we gather together and learn about specific methods as well. It's only an hour of methods chat, but here you can also have a short introduction into other methods, maybe very specific methods, and also get to know people who are working with these methods, maybe to have some connections with some other research institutes. Yeah, but thank you very much for this question. Maybe let's move on to maybe focus a little bit more on the transition between academia and practice, especially a question for you, Paulina. What challenges did you face when switching between academia and your professional field now?
Wow, bad question. Because it was adapting how I communicate the insights and how can I transfer my knowledge to the common terms, and also thinking in the audience is probably more diverse and not too technical. So that was really hard. I remember when I go to the first month, I guess, in the new job, they say, okay, maybe you should write a blog. And I say, what? Yeah, blog post. Yeah, okay, I will try my best because I have never done it before. So I was trying, and then go with the comments back and say, okay, can you translate in other words more easy to read? And okay, and it's not necessary to include the citations and referencing up. Okay, but then I just try to find the balance, and they try to include, for example, reference, because I said it's important to know what I'm saying from where it's coming, you know. Well, that's one of first, and I guess take times to learn how to change the way that we write or we express. And other one was adjust or the expectations, because in professional settings it's different, totally different, because all the things need to be done now for yesterday, and they have another rim and need practical solutions as soon as possible. And there is a kind of it's a struggle with okay, but this is a process, need to go through the literature review, the design, the analysis, the data, the end result, and then go to the inform. No, need to the result now. And it's kind of different. But at the end, I guess that I found the balance. And one of the things that it helped me a lot was learn about storytelling and learn about how to translate data or graphics to sentences or affirmations that the audience get connected. Mm-hmm. So I guess I don't mind.
That's reasonable. Yeah, that's a good point. Thank you. Judith, were there also challenges you faced when switching institutions or different working groups? Or was it more easier for you to always stay in academia?
Well, to me, it was simply surviving. I mean, I had to, and you must imagine there was a period of 5 years where I had 30 contracts in 5 years, and often so then I received the letter in which I was dismissed together at in the same post with the letter for my new contract. So yeah, to me that never was it was just normal, so to speak. But yeah, of course, there is that big transition for me, 2015, when I went to Vienna. So I think that would, for me, also be a recommendation that you have to really reflect and consider whether you would be willing to go abroad. And I did, and I'm very glad that I did it. But imagine, I learned German at school, which was then 2 hours for a few years in secondary school, and I hadn't spoken it for 35 years. But when I was there, I immediately started also teaching in German, and I loved it. But you must really consider and reflect very deeply whether you are willing and able, also giving your family, for example, whether you're really willing to go abroad. And I recently also talked with a colleague of mine who is from Vienna, and who told me also that for example, some other colleagues who are originally or at least studied in Vienna and then go abroad because they can get a good position there. And then after some time, they want to come back to Vienna, and it just doesn't work because then it's very how should I say? Okay, there is this position, and you reflect, and they hire you, but it is just also a kind of a coincidence where that position is. So if you are, for example, based in Vienna, and you think, okay, I go back and I have a position, then after a few years I will then get a position in Vienna. No, that's not apparently how it works. So you must really be prepared then in case you are willing to go abroad, to stay abroad, so to speak.
Thank you. Yeah. So you should be a little bit more flexible and open for new countries, for new cities if
Yeah.
you
If that's possible, because I also really know some people who say, no, I won't do that because I live here, I have small children, all my family, they're here, so I stay here, which is also perfectly fine. And also in that case, there are also opportunities to have a good job. So that's not a problem. But really to get, for example, a professorship, it may be necessary really to go abroad. Yeah.
Thank you. Yeah, that's a valuable information. Does
I will say that taking this thing with, even if you don't move to another country, maybe go collaborate with other researchers in other countries, it's a good idea. It enrich a lot your perspective, your knowledge, and also have the opportunity to collaborate and create something more interdisciplinary or open to the community. It's really nice opportunity.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, thank you. That's a good point. Yeah. Thank you. Does the audience have any questions right now? Maybe also later. Yeah, so for now, I would like to go on maybe to the point future perspectives and recommendations. What trends do you see for the future of educational research in terms of methodological skills? Are they going to be much more important or less important? What are your opinions about this? Who would like to start?
Well, yes, I think they are important and also becoming more important because, for example, if you look at big data now, that's Paulina knows much more about that, but that's, for example, important. So new methodologies are coming, and there's also the idea of a crisis in science generally and in social science research, that much of research is not cannot be replicated, for example, which has to do with many problems related to, say, too small sample size and biases in publication, and so. So yes, I think that methodological skills will become more important. Yeah. On the other hand, there's also what you also see is that more and more research, of course, is also done in teams. So it's not necessarily important to have all methodological skills yourself, but I still think it really helps if you do have some methodological skills, or even if you're working together with a methodologist.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, I was thinking in the same data as the one of the trends, and also that it's necessary to include in our daily and also in academic education environment. It's what is happening, and we can't just avoid it. We need to embrace and also include it and do research about it and use it. But I was thinking also about the inclusion and equity, and maybe one of the things is that came so important to create or take this in count when we propose projects. Take this point of view of with inclusion and ensure the diversity perspectives in the project now, so to try to create more equitable education systems. So but I was thinking also that the new generations are increasing interested in data analysis, because I don't know, but Judy, you can say it better, but one of you, I mean, 10, 20 years ago, probably social science and data was not too familiar, and now using mixed methods research, it's coming more like a trend, and using qualitative focus and then move to the quantitative. So I think it's one of the things that I'm really glad that the new generations are including both perspectives.
Good point. Thank you very much.
Yeah, indeed. I could yes, I could add that also. I mean, I talked also about big data coming, but you're right. More mixed methods is coming, but also research is becoming more and more complex because of that, and that means that for a project you can no longer often do something very simple because also often your research question is quite complex, and then more and more diverse methodological skills are needed. I agree with you.
Thank you very much. Yeah. Okay, so maybe coming to the last questions, what tips, what recommendations would you give to early career researchers or students who are still unsure about their career paths? Maybe like a conclusion, a summarizing of this discussion.
Yeah, I think in 3 points. First one, try different areas. I mean, do it, try different topics in research, participate in different groups, because this is a way that you can find the main field that it's for you relevant, and then build a strong network. For me, for example, even I was in the industry, I just keep in contact with my friends from the academia, or keep in contact with the universities, and also participating in academic conference. So was have these 2 words in connected, and now for me it was the opportunity to become independent consultant. because now work with universities, making some projects, and also work with companies and organizations trying to help them to apply statistics methods, make research. So it's important, the network, and also we learn a lot of from the other one. And the last one, stay curious and adapt to the constant change. And in this moment that we have this fast world moving. I mean, today we are talking about IA, and probably in a few months we are talking about the including in classrooms robots or something like that. No, I think it's important to stay in the trends with curiosity. I mean, that's all.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Very valuable. Judith.
Okay, yeah, well, it's interesting to see that my recommendations and tips are 3 different ones, so that I think that they connect very well. So to me, one thing is to find your niche, to find your topic, so to speak. And I was very late, not too late, but when I really discovered this mixed methods research. But that gives you also an advantage, but it also gives you a focus. So I agree with Paulina that you should try out various things and so, but also try to have one focus. And exactly how you do that, I don't know. I only know that it is important. So for me, for example, yes, I am a linguist, but I studied the change of the relative pronoun in Dutch for during 6 centuries, and it was very interesting. But I did not consider myself as an identity, so to speak, to be the historical linguist. And I had the same with computers in education, which I also love and like, and I like to work with computers. I like to program, but I did not see myself as, oh yeah, I am someone with the specialism of computers in education. But I do consider myself, and very much so, a specialist in mixed method research. But that is something that you have to find it. And if you, and I basically, I sometimes see, for example, with master students, you can often already see that they then choose a topic, and in a sense are then already a kind of specialist, become kind of specialist in that topic. And I think that's a very good idea. That's very yeah, that's great if that happens, but of course it does not happen to everyone already during their master studies. So find your niche, and then find and stay with groups that are relevant for that need. So in my case, it is the Mixed Method International Research Association, or before that it was just a group, and in 2013 they became the Mixed Method International Research Association. So discover who are the important people in your field, and then also attend conferences and meetings of those groups. So it's not only about attending, say, educational conferences, but it's especially find, one could translate it as find the SIGs, for example, that are interesting, are interest to you. And also through these SIGs, you will then often also discover that there are groups. And as I say, through the internet, it is often not that difficult to find important people and to find out what are these important groups. And then if you decide to go to a conference, that's really amazing. I mean, the first time that I went to the conference of the Mixed Method International Research Association, it was those people, all those books that I've read, and these authors, and they are real people, and they're alive, and you can talk to them. That was really a really great experience. But then it's also important to stay. That means I went to the Mixed Method Conference and I came back every year or every 2 years or so. And that's, I say that because it's not, you cannot expect that if you enter into such a group that they all immediately say, oh yes, who are you? Oh, that's very interesting, that's exactly what we need, etc. No, that takes time. And I remember, and it's also difficult, for example, because the Mixed Method International Research Association, they're very much, say, Anglo-American oriented. So it's not that easy as a person from Europe to really be, so to speak, accepted as a member of the group. Yes, there are several, but it's not easy. And but I also remember two of my European colleagues who also then, yeah, they went to one of the conferences of the Mixed Method International Research Association, and then said, yeah, these people are only concerned with themselves or something like that. But I thought, yeah, that is true for every group. So if you want to become really an accepted member of such an international research group, you have to association, you just have to stay there and you have to keep coming back and say, oh, and you start to do review work, for example, for their journal. So I also started to become a reviewer for the Journal of Mixed Method Research. And then over time, and it needn't be that long, they will remember you, and then, so for example, then it was then in 2013 or 14 that one of the members of the Mixed Methods community, Burke Johnson, then said to me, oh yeah, you are giving that workshop. Okay, shall we do that together? So then you start to build connections and collaborations, but you also you have to stay there. It doesn't happen quickly, so to speak. And it's interesting to see, because if you do that, you will have also that a competitive advantage, because quite recently, there's now also from sociology a network of mixed method researchers, and that was formed in 2020 until 2022. But if you see from that specific group, there is then only, say, one person who also has now really become a member of the International Mixed Method International Research Association, and started to publishing with people from that international network. And that's, yes, she is good, she's really good, but it's not only because she's good, but because she also, like I did then a few years before, she stayed with them. She came back and she kept sending in papers for presentations at conferences. And that really, I think, works. Yeah, because you have something to offer them and they are willing, but it takes time. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Wow, very inspiring. Thank you very much. You have such different career paths, but so inspiring to hear and super interesting to hear your perspective inside and outside academia. And I think now the last two, the last question was very inspiring. I guess also for early career researchers to get involved, find a community, and find a niche with your methodological skills. I think that's a good take-home message from this talk. Florian, yes, you have a question.
Yeah, I have a question. So thank you for your insights so far. And I have a question that directly relates to what Judith just said. You were talking about identity and about finding what you want to do and find your topic. And I was wondering how much methods are different in that regard from finding like a content-related topic, like finding teaching quality as your topic or motivation, because like you are coming into situations where you have to promote yourself, may it be for a professorship or within a DFG proposal or something, where you also as a person have to convince people, and there you need this identity and convince them that you're really the best fit. And I'm wondering whether methods works the same way as a content topic would, or how much you have to do two things at the same time, like find your content topic that you connect to your methods topic, and how to balance these two then. So what's your thoughts there?
Okay, well, that's really an excellent question, and also because I think that perhaps I am not the best example, because I actually hardly have. I mean, one could say currently that's a content topic, but I agree. First, I think perhaps a content topic might be easier, perhaps because then, yeah, there are, how should I say, methodology is always a bit on the sideline. They're not central, so to speak, to, for example, departments in education, and also not other. And I think it's good to have both a content topic and a methodological focus. I think that if you would be able to have both, then you really also have an advantage, and you can have both. I mean, yes, one article should be either really methodologically or focused on content, not on both, which is an error that's made by many people who hand in a manuscript to the Journal of Mixed Method Research. But a person, so to speak, can have both, and I think that's also good, because a methodology is also always connected to a topic. So it makes a difference whether you, so to speak, apply a specific method in one field or another field. So yeah, I think that would be good if you could find both a content a topic specialization and a methodological specialization. Yeah.
I just want to add, for me, methodology is like a transversal to different topics, and if you can feel comfortable with some kind of methods, probably you can learn more about it and go deeper there. But if the basic or the skills and methodological skills is strong, you can apply it in different topics and different fields. I don't know, it's kind of work for me, because I have been working with cognitive process and migration, also work with education now, and also related with the performance. So it's different content or topics or fields, but in the same methodological path. It's the quantitative data or more than analytic. But I'm agree with Judy. Fully agree that it's important to explore and have both. At the end, it's better. It's an advantage.
And I perhaps also wanted to add that in the end, it's not. You can also develop a content specialization, in my opinion, even if you haven't formally studied that. So in that sense, interdisciplinarity is still a very important point, and people coming from a different discipline who then provide important contribution to another discipline, just because they come from the outside and have a different view. And that's I know that in the German tradition, the Fach, the discipline, is very considered very important, much more so than in the Netherlands. But yeah, people just can come from one tradition and then become very interested in another one, in another tradition, and provide an important contribution. That's even true for, say, Nobel Prizes. I always have to think of Bruno Latour, who described that process in laboratory work. I've always forget those titles, where really people from different disciplines, that was done chemistry and also biology, etc. But they were from different disciplines working on one important topic, and that's very valuable.
Yeah.
Thank you.
And still, my advice, it's never too late. I would really wish for all of you that you find your niche earlier than I did. I mean, I didn't even have the idea of a career path, but yeah, you can. It's, as I said, it's never too late.
Yeah, of course. And also we have this new moment with the reskilling and upskilling. You know, it's like just not to improve your skills, but you can redirect your to another skill. So it's never too late, as you say.
Thank you very much for your answers and also for the question. It was a very important question. Do you also does the audience have any questions left? If this is not the case, would it be okay for you, Judith and Paulina, if I provide your email address for further questions from the audience? Perfect.
Yeah, of course.
Yes, sure.
Perfect. Thank you very much. So I would say we're on point. Maybe let's wrap it up, or let's come to an end for this discussion. Thank you very much again for your experiences, for sharing your perspectives and your career paths. It was very inspiring and very helpful to hear some other perspectives and your recommendations. Thank you very much. So this is also the end of the methods chat for the winter term, and I'll keep you updated for the next methods chat in the summer term, maybe, and hopefully let's see us there. Thank you very much for coming, for sharing your experiences, and have a nice day.
Thank you to you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
See you. Bye-bye.
Bye.